So today we are going to be cloning an existing WordPress site. All right. Here we are, Hammer dashboard, old WordPress website. And what we have here is quite simple. We have a hero, navigation. So in order to recreate something like this, we have to tell the software what it is that we're trying to do and keep it as simple as possible, because the more you complicate these builds, the less likely you are to get a desirable outcome. At least that's my experience. And I know that that's going to change. I know that what's going to happen with context coding is that when you give it more and more and more context and more information, it's going to be able to take that all in and figure it all out. But what I've determined is by doing that, you just confuse the hell out of it. So all I'm saying right now is clone a WordPress website. I made a link to it, hammerinc.com. I'm going to take a screenshot. We're going to have it pull the text content. This is a very simple site. It's basically a one-pager, okay, with a couple twists, like no big deal. It's for an app, okay? So it's old and it needs a refresh and it needs to get off of WordPress because WordPress is dying a terrible death at the dawn of this AI software creation. There isn't any reason to keep WordPress on for a site this simple because the complications of WordPress are so vast that something this small doesn't warrant that, ever. So here we have this. This is it. Clone a WordPress website. Site has no blog, only a few pages. I gave it the screenshot of what it looks like, and I let it rip on the content. Now, I've already saved down every image. I'm going to just hit start chat on this, right? And let it do its thing. So initially, what you'll get when it's doing this thing is it's going to make a new environment. It's going to come up with a plan for you in which you could approve things, you can modify things. You know, whatever you need to have done here, you're going to plan it. And if you want it to go full on and just do the thing for you, you can have it do that, or you can kind of micromanage every step. And at this moment, I would say to micromanage every step because, again, well, for me anyway, as an art director or someone who's going to direct the way this thing's looking, you don't want to leave it to the robots to figure that out, okay? Unless you explicitly say design something and how to do it, whether that's inserting a screenshot of something or providing it with a Figma mock-up or just a flat image or some kind of general direction, it's going to go rogue and get things kind of weird. So here's what it's saying. It took a look at the website. It wants to clone Hammer Inc. And it already knows that it has a hero, features, FAQ, contact, hero section with full background image of the Hammer truck, app download section for Google Play in the App Store, 2 columns with some CTAs. I mean, it gets it. Okay, now just to put things in perspective, you know, WordPress is software, and software now can just be replicated and created from thin air. So the codex for WordPress is out there. And so just like with the English language, or just like with the information that's needed to conduct searches for law or to upload a bunch of screenshots of your latest MRI and get doctors like real information about, like, you know, that you're circumventing the gatekeepers, you're circumventing the holders of information. And that's all that's happening here. You're circumventing these kind of software packages or these software companies. You're just making your own thing. So right here it says build the entire app, 20 plus minutes. This says start with a design. And I'd rather do that because I want to go piece by piece and make sure that it's, you know, that it's looking good. So what you'll see here while it's getting ready is this is the area that the website will appear, and that I'm going to start talking down here in this left bottom corner here. And just to get you acclimated to the way things work now is you can build, you can plan, or you can edit. Okay, edit and plan is new as of like 2 weeks ago. This is my first preview out there of Agent 3. Agent 3 just means it's the third version of Replit, but they've snuck in a bunch of updates along the way. So they call it 3, but they're always adding things and making things better. You can tell almost overnight when one of these models gets an update because things just work better. Now, with that said, on version 3 of this software creation tool and what I'm going to try to operate and direct, it gets things wrong sometimes. It gets things right sometimes. You just have to pay attention to what it's doing and don't let it go rogue. The second you let it go rogue, it's going to screw things up. It'll mistakenly delete something or modify something. It'll tweak something. So that's why when it comes to actual software with intricacies, this is still a challenge to get this to do what you need it to do. But for the most part, websites like this, the only challenge is just getting this stuff on the screen the way you want it to look. There isn't any interaction. There isn't anything happening here that needs user feedback or anything. It's just static information on the screen that's going to lead to a place. It's essentially a landing page. And so we're just going to make a nicer landing page. And WordPress itself is completely unnecessary. The amount of work that goes into maintaining this with the plugins, the theme updates, the theme license, the hosting, the various updates from all the hosting stuff. If you have plugins involved, you get security updates for plugins constantly. And if you want to modify this or make it do something that it doesn't currently do, it's an actual song and a dance to get it to do that stuff. So that's why it's not even close. It's not even close. Oh, look at that. When it comes to the speed at which you can get things done here compared to the way it used to be. You know, if I want some functionality that didn't exist in the past, I have to find a plugin that does it and just accept that plugin, right? The plugin does what the plugin does and you get what you get. And that's it. And if you want to modify the plugin, typically the developers of that modification of that plugin don't like that. So they make it kind of hard to do. Or you start something from scratch. Look at this. This is really weird. But again, don't look at this preview like this is what it's come up with, because it didn't. It's just working. We're going to let it keep doing its thing, then we're going to come back to this. Okay. What I want to do in the meantime is take you into my account. And if I go back to the home, while it's building, Hammer's working, these other sites are waiting for more work. And so you can see there's a lot of things going on here now inside of my account, all custom builds. One that I love to tinker in because, you know, both being physical, working out, training people, running marathons, whatever, all those things are a passion of mine, and doing what I do digitally is a passion of mine. So what better way to go about working with both of those passions than to build out an entire web app dedicated to all of that stuff? And that's what you see here. Now in the past, while I wait for that to build, I'm just going to explain this. I wouldn't be able to allocate enough time, enough resources to get something like this created. Calculators, a recipe section. When you go to the recipe section, it instantly will download a PDF of that page. You know, I'm going to be able to gate and sell mini courses through this. I'm going to integrate and sell drop ship on demand clothing and other items, including mini courses. I'm going to also sell a book, and all of it's going to be assisted by AI. But the trick is to be authentically human and use AI for the technology, but don't fake it with AI, with the fake writing and the fake pictures and the fake this and the fake that. The reason why this is all working, and for any one of these businesses that you see here, the reason why it's working because it's real, authentic businesses and real, authentic people doing real things that they're really good at. The AI is just there to help. Now, when you put things like SEO on the table and all of the old ways of doing things, because WordPress represents an old way of doing things. You know, everyone thinks, oh, go to Google and type in something and then find the thing. However, that is really changing and evolving rapidly, just as fast as this. Just as of like the end of May, beginning of June, is when this whole context coding thing kind of came to be. And the second I saw it, I knew that it would never, ever go back to doing it the old way. That once anyone starts doing it this way, they're never going to go back to the old way. And that's the same with all these AI tools. They're superior to the old tools in most ways. And if they aren't yet, they will be very soon. It's just a matter of time. See, like, okay, now I can point out all the things that are wrong here, and that's fine. I don't need to do that. All I'm going to say is, did it really read the actual text? What is Hammer? Did it do it? Oh my God, it did that. See, that's phenomenal. This is what I'm talking about. How long has this video been on for? 7 minutes? And so, although I'm not happy with the way all this looks, there's a placeholder here for all of this stuff. And so it's off-brand. The logo's screwed up and tiny. I like some of this stuff. And it's often that it'll throw things out there that you wouldn't normally like think of or do. And in this case, did it do it? Not fully, but pretty good. It's got the sliding single page thing. I don't think it acknowledged that there is a second tier, barely a second tier. It's just a page that says customer sign up. It's just a little bit different, but that's no big deal. And so as you scroll down, you'll see on the old site that I had it built so that these red blocks would go over the nav. Okay, so when I'm deconstructing an existing website and I'm building the new one in here, what I'm doing is I'm taking it from the top. And so right now at the very top, what I see are several errors that I'm going to immediately fix. So we're going to build functionality at this point. It says keep iterating on design or build functionality. Let's go to build mode. We don't need to keep goofing off here. This is a simple build. So first and foremost, we got to just get the logo right. So you'll see this little paperclip thing down here, upload file. I have the logo right here already saved down from the existing site. And I'm just going to say swap out logo. See how it says swap out logo? It's quite often that I type like just super fast and with typos, and it will sift through that. Quite the same as if you were to do this with a chat GPT, because again, these are all models that are kind of built similarly. It's going to sift through errors and typos. It's going to read short information better than if I went right now and said all the things that I can see that are wrong. If I did that right now, it's going to still get everything wrong. But just focus on the micro. Focus on the one thing. Right now we got this tiny little fake logo, which in some ways I kind of like better, to be honest with you. It just generated that out of nothing. I like it. But it's just not what they want. So let's go. We're going to swap out logo. And where does this logo exist? Oh, let's slap it in the bottom too. Header, footer. So see how I'm typing to it, and let's see what it comes up with. Again, each of these things generally take a minute, 2 minutes, something like that. Now, there's different levels to this. See how fast I did that? Like even just something so simple like that, right? You know, you want a logo change or you want a typo fixed or something like that. You know that you have to get into WordPress and go to the page. You have to do all these like steps to just make the simplest thing. And there's always something wrong when you get into your website. Like a plugin needs update. You always get derailed from the task or something complicates what it is that you set out to do because the technology is always getting in the way and the technology is just busted. It's broken. It's fragmented. And, you know, I've explained this in previous videos, but while I'm doing the rest of this stuff, like I want to make this logo, I don't know, 20% bigger and nav. And I'm going to say, give more contrast to the nav options and have the nav highlight the sections as you scroll down. Okay, so let's see if it gets all of that. And when it's doing that, you know, it's just writing code, and all of your code, all of your files, all of your everything are all here. Anything that you need to do here, if you have a database, if you want to see your files, and this is like the base of how it starts. And so like, it's not just something that's proprietary, that's locked in a box that they own. You can take this thing and host it any place. What you do is you just ask this thing, well, what kind of hosting do I need? And it'll point out like 5 different web hosts that you can go to, and you can build here, you can publish it here, and you can ship it off to hosting if you want, or you can store it on GitHub. There's all these different intermediary steps that you can do to protect everything. You can splice it. Let's say you have functionality that you're trying to add or fix. You know, you can kind of have a version and then splice the version into another version, see how that's working out for you. If it doesn't work out, you can roll back to this. So, okay, so just like that, as you scroll down, did it listen? It did listen. See, it's getting better. And again, people think that these WordPress sites are very complicated and complex. And because they are, you know, if you had to write these things, but these things have been being built for 15 years now. So all of the code is out there for all of this stuff. It's all been swallowed up by all these LLMs and whatever these applications are that run behind the scenes. And let me tell you something. I know more about AI than anybody else that I know, except Pete Senna. But let's say I know 2,000 people on a first name basis in my life. I know more about AI than all of those people except Pete. I'll give him that credit. With that said, I barely understand how the hell I can talk to this thing and have it just write a website from scratch behind the scenes. Because really that's what's going on behind the scenes of all of this stuff. It's just a bunch of code being written. And that is whacked out, man. This is absolutely batshit crazy. I've never seen anything like it. And again, brand new as of June, the whole rule book might change in a month because no one's even adopting what I'm doing right now yet. They're going to when they figure it out and start seeing more and more of this. Let me take a sip. Truth be told, I'm wearing my shirt. I'm running the Hartford Marathon this Saturday. So I'm currently in hydration mode, repair mode. I'm in the taper. Very exciting. Okay, so it did all the things I asked it to do. First try, right? FAQs, it's lit up. How it works, it's lit up, back to the top. I want logo, make logo, top jump button. Great. Now I want to swap out. And you can start to just fire multiple commands at it. So you don't have to wait for it to do its thing. This is the background image. Swap. Nice overlay. So I'm asking it to, thanks, dude. Swap hero image with nice overlay. See, I'm talking to it. It's like I have a little alien robot software developer hanging out with me that is not a physical being, but I'm talking and communicating with, I'm basically talking and communicating with robots all day long for different reasons, whether it's ChatGPT, Sora for images, right within ChatGPT, accessing my Gmail, now acting as my agent, going shopping for me, adding things to my calendar for me. It goes into my Calendly app. You can watch it go on the screen. So just talking to, I call it my little alien friend all day long. See, now my alien friend is a moron sometimes. And so what I asked it to do just now was to give me the hero image, swap it out, and then, make a nice gradient. But what it did is it just ghosted. It just put the thing behind 100% opacity. So I need to see the image, 50% black overlay. Now, so if you don't know what happened here, then chances are you're not going to know how to solve this, even like something simple like this. This is how people get stuck in the quote unquote vibe coding rabbit hole and never get out, because you don't really know what you're asking this thing to do. And sometimes you tell it to do it once, sometimes you tell it to do it twice, and sometimes you have to tell it 10 times. And I don't really know why. Sometimes I can tell this thing the same thing to do 10 times, and it does it at the 10th try with zero difference in how I asked it to do the thing. Sometimes I feel like it's broken or it's like overloaded and it just doesn't work right. And then sometimes you feel like, oh, this thing's just doing the right thing and it understands exactly what I need. So like, there's a good example. And what I'm going to show you right now is the Replit or the AI software builder upsell. Okay. Now, what I don't want anymore is to goof off. So there's a thing called the high power model, and there's image generation. And all this does is it gets it right, like usually quickly. And so what I don't understand is, why don't they just use the high powered model right out of the gate? I need hero to have this background image. 3 times asking, and then all of a sudden, like, okay, after the 3rd time of asking the same thing, it's like, well, what am I doing wrong? What am I asking wrong? So when I first started doing this stuff, I would just start swearing at it and I would get all pissed off. And then I have to realize, okay, what am I saying wrong to this thing? And why isn't it doing it? And why was it able to just get right? Like something like, as I scroll down the page, make the buttons change color. Like, this is mind-boggling to me, how it's so smart and so stupid. And that's the difference between version 3 and version 25. Okay, version 25 comes out. It's going to know what I want next, probably. I won't even have to ask it. It's just going to do all the things. But we're still goofing off with version 3. And it's telling me done. The hero section now has the background image of the hammer truck with the excavator you upload. Image is displayed with a 50% black overlay. And it's clearly not. And that's weird. And so what they would say at Replit is, at this point, to break the chat and start a new chat. Because sometimes what happens is this thing just starts spinning in circles and it can't get out of its own way. And so you want to just sever the connection. It's like a reboot, right? You're right. The image isn't showing. Let me test the application to see what's going on. Let's do that. I'm starting up a browser to begin testing. My thoughts will show up here. Now that's brand new. I've never seen that one before. This is fascinating, by the way. Every time I come here and use this tool, something changes and it gets better. Now, in this particular case, it's like you move real fast and then something slows you down, and then you'll do the same thing again. You'll blow through a bunch of steps. And if it gets stuck on this hero one more time, I'm going to start a new chat and move on. And it's, to me, by saying it's creating Replit.md, to me, it's still doing some startup features and some startup stuff that had to happen from a brand new build. But considering I've been working on this for a total of 25 minutes and I already have a workable website, to me, that seems like a really good step. So what are you doing here? What's this thing doing? This is wild. So it's going into its own agent mode. Look at that. I've never seen this before. This is definitely new. Is it delusional? See what I'm saying? It like hallucinates. This is an example of the hallucination, right? I've confirmed the hero section is up and visible, but it seems the background image isn't loading correctly. I'm going to take a screenshot of the hero and capture what I'm seeing. This is fascinating. So that was a first. That's new, whatever that even was, like the whole testing itself against reality. Because for the most part, what I've been doing up to this point is just taking screenshots and saying, no, it's still not there. No, it's still not there. And so it's claiming there's an image path issue. And again, these silly issues, once they're resolved, then you just blow past this and move on. Also, I want to note that if I weren't doing this live, what I would be doing is other things while it's doing this. Like, so, you know, it may seem like, oh, this is going slow and this isn't like what I want to be doing. But while this goofs off and does its thing, I would be in another installation. I'd have like 5 of these open and I can work on sites all at the same time in different accounts and have them all doing stuff simultaneously, all while having ChatGPT and sort of like, so I don't want you to think that when I'm building these things that I'm just sitting here hanging out and just watching the screen and, you know, goofing off on one thing. You can multitask like crazy. And so just like out of nowhere, just like I said, for no apparent reason, this time I was like, you know what? I'll fix that image for you. And so here it is. And so what I like about this is I like how there's like a little bit of a blur kind of effect on this button. I just want the buttons to be more prominent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot, and that's Windows Shift S. I'm going to screenshot those buttons, paste it in here, and just make these more prominent. And this is where the part where you're going to let AI just kind of rip and see what it comes up with. Make these a bit nicer. Like, what does that even mean? You know, that's like something you tell a designer, and the designer will get mad at you. So I do that quite often, and sometimes it gets it right and sometimes it doesn't, but it's nice to see what it comes up with because sometimes it just does something that I would never have done. Mostly because, not because I wouldn't have thought of it creatively, mostly because it was just so time consuming. Going out and getting the Google Play icon and making the buttons, putting them in a little cell, and then, you know, every single thing that used to happen was touching every individual inch of a screen, piece by piece, you know? And let me just show you what I'm talking about. So if I go back to the website, because I built this, and look at this new website. So now it's just scrolling down whenever I go to that. So bad. I really, really have grown. Like, once you get away from WordPress, and for me, for a while, it was Webflow. And Webflow is very cool, but it's still pushing pixels around the page. And I'll show you what I mean by pushing pixels around the page, because I don't think a lot of business owners understand what that means and why everything was so time consuming before. So every one of these pieces of this website is something I can touch individually. Okay, when I'm in that other environment, I can still edit those things and touch them individually, but I don't have to place them. So like, this is inside of a column. Now this says classic column. This was built so long ago that even the columns are outdated. So I'd have to, in this case, if I want to do something here and customize it, I'd have to rebuild the table because this column's old and dated. And then I'd have to place these buttons back in. And these were just taken from like the internet somewhere. And I made them like specifically to match and be here and so on and so forth. Same size, same scale, all that crap. All hands-on touching every single little thing. These buttons, every bit of the button is configurable. Every color, every drop shadow, that little red thing underneath it, the spacing in between, every single thing is something that for a long time, since 1998, has been part of my job, if not my whole job, to make websites, do things. You got to micromanage every inch. So the reason why this is so powerful is because it just takes that out of the loop. So it made it more prominent. It made it black. I just want to make the colors. I just said make colors true to the real icons, both icons and buttons. Because you don't want it to be so like off-brand. It's close though. It's good. And again, little rollover effect. It's very nice. While it's doing that, I can show you theme. Check that out, bro. Beta. That's brand new too. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Every time I turn around, there's some new button. And I'm like, what the hell? This is cool. So this just gives me an overall theme right out of thin air. Publish theme to library. Oh my God, that's great. So there you go. Another new thing that just popped in. So they're calling this Agent 3, but when Agent 3 was released, those two things that you've already seen were not part of that. Now, if it gets it wrong on this particular try, I'll screenshot the buttons that I'm currently using. Let's see, did it really do it? No, see, it's bullshit me, dude. The buttons are great. Look at that, I styled them. They're authentic with multicolored gradients. No, they're not. Buttons are the same. Look how I spelled style and them. Buttons are the same, styled. And then again, the next step would be to just grab the buttons, just to remind them this is what the actual, you can shoot things in if you want while it's like spinning in a circle, trying to figure it out. Yeah, so that's that. Now we're going to keep moving. I don't really like, I'm not a big fan of this like red underline thing that they got going on. It's like their little theme that they came up with. I would prefer, if anything, I'd like the red line to just be on the top or the bottom and just span the width of the title that it's under, not just be this like weird equal sign or something. I just don't like it. So I'm going to fix that. Cool, they threw it into the footer. Does it go where it's supposed to go now? So first and foremost, let me go grab the URLs. Copy link address. Okay, and so I can start kind of loading it up. Okay, bunch of things I see pissing me off. I don't like this. I don't like the short red lines. Make them go as wide as text, and I'm just bombing it right over, over and over and over. I don't like how this has 4 and this has 5. There's this like word wrap thing, but these are off, and that doesn't look good. I don't like that. I get obsessive about those kind of things. So I'm going to ask it to make sure that the height of the boxes and learn more buttons should match. Okay, see how I'm just like boom, 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 laying down the boom over and over and over. Now, it's interesting to me still that it's kind of ignoring the fact that I said it 3 times about the colors on the buttons. But the buttons are starting to grow on me. Kind of like it. I like it that they're not all colorful. So if it doesn't do it again right now, I'm just going to move on. It's saying that the buttons are functional. Yeah, I could see, I can roll over and see the Google, see the App Store. Let's see if this one's still doing it. Yeah, Google, App Store. For anyone that doesn't know, when you roll over a link on something, on the button specifically, the URL is in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen down there. Okay. What's it working on now? It's working on the buttons again. Okay, so what else don't I like? What I know that it has here. See, so we have this like driver sign up page, and customer sign up page. But are these stupid? You know, when this site was built, this I know. When the site was built years ago, these two things were kind of afterthoughts. So I'm wondering, since everything else is a repeat, this has become a Hammer customer, and this has become a Hammer driver. Should it stay that way? Or should I try to redesign this thing a little bit from a UI perspective to just be a little smarter? So I'll probably end up doing that. But all I'm really trying to do today is just duplicate something and show the process. So I'm going to fix this login button. That goes here. Update the login button. So yeah, they do have the customer sign up and driver sign up as individual pages. So I'll get to that in a minute. No biggie. Features. It's going to fix that. When it says learn more, why would they do that? Because what am I learning? This old WordPress site is hurting, bro. Learn more. But where are you going? That's the customer. Okay. So, all right. So I need these 2 blocks to be more colorful and decorative because there is a division between the driver and the user. Okay. So also more like live site need color blocks, inverse for need something moved and make money driving. Oops. Okay, so this way there's a little bit more contrast between that and this next like white section. See, I like the lines better, but still a little weird. Still some gap issues. Probably have them just move the lines out of there or just do one. I don't think I like the 2. Ah, nice. Did learn more. Fixed that. Again, something like that, because I could tell you I did it on Experience Pinpoint. If I go to their blog in WordPress, the Insights tab, I did that. I did it by hand. I made read more, no matter what the title was, no matter what happened here. Read more aligns. You see? I handle that with bizarre code, voodoo, and witchcraft. all at once and made it work. Whether or not it's mobile or desktop, it's just consistent. So I like that. I like not having to do things like that. That right there, who wants to pay a developer to do that? Like, ever again. Like, why would anyone want to spend time doing stuff like that? So all I'm saying is, if you're a person who works in software of any kind, that software rules your life. It's not very long from now that that software may just get gobbled up by AI. And so learn to use AI to create the software that you need for your life. And I just had a conversation with somebody yesterday about this, about an application that doesn't exist. And there are a bunch of prefabricated versions of it, but nothing is exactly as he needs it. So I told him all about this, and we're going to embark on making him his own custom software. And my advice to him on that was, don't go too crazy with the details. Just get the core functionality of what you're trying to have happen on the screen, have people use it, and build on it from there. But don't go super complicated. Don't go so long. Calm down. And he listened to that, and that's great. And so we're going to embark on that journey. That's going to be awesome. Okay, let's see what this thing's doing now. I'm going to close this down. Another thing I did before I even got here, because what's going to need to happen eventually when I'm done with this, is that we have to move this thing. So A records and C names and all this other stuff, we have to fix that. This is weird, actually. Man, there's so many details. All right, we'll get to this in a minute. This is hysterical. Domain control, can't delete, A records parked, C name. All right, cool. We'll figure that out momentarily. Sounds like a hoot. That's why, because hammerinc.com. Here we go. The A record is here or not. I'll look for the DNS after, but yeah, so you can see how things can easily get derailed. Don't even go on Facebook. I did. Look at this. Bringing back the window. Yeah, that's weird, man. The AI agent taking over a screen, moving a mouse around, checking things out for you. Whoa. Oh, I don't like the stark lines, though. I like the colors that I had selected, and I'm going to grab these colors for it. Make the dark color and lighter red this. So in case you don't know, this is called Color Picker. It's an app that instantly helps you find exactly which hex color to use. So when rebuilding stuff like this, and make sure the learn more stays aligned and remove. All right, well, that's it for now. Cool. I need a little more darkness on this opacity. I also want to point something out, like this header and how quickly that just was resolved. That's a wild thing, man. Because if I had to go on WordPress again and get into the header, you're talking about at least an hour to get this to be a transparent black, have this thing pop down like that as you're scrolling down. It's such a pain in the ass. Like, that you can touch everything was a benefit, but not now. Now I just don't want to. I can't be bothered with this stuff because it's just ridiculous. It's just a waste of time at this point. When you could just tell a robot exactly what to do, and even if it takes 3 or 4 tries, it's still faster than building this thing from scratch. And then if you don't know how to do a certain part of this, either you get stuck, you have to hire somebody, or you spend 2 hours trying to find the answer in some old forum from 2018 with dated information. Like, oh, that's how you do it. Then you got to go add CSS code and try to hack the system. It's like a whole problem, but all of that goes away when you just use a tool like this. That's interesting. It didn't listen to me. Yes, it did. I take it back in real time. Not a big fan of the white line over here. So I'm assuming, okay, the color scheme matches. Now are they gonna ignore? Yeah, they ignored my alignment request. So align these two. Okay, then let's keep moving on down the line here. I find this crazy. Again, the accordion thing. Let's go back over here. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the page builder. We go to the accordion, and every one of these is a thing. And to adjust these things, and this is the old one. See, even the, Jesus. So yeah, no, it's not the old one. Actually, I take it back. Actually, it is the old one. You can't control colors and stuff. So again, this would have to be rebuilt if I wanted to change things around, or I'd have to goof off in some CSS customization in order to get it right. And I ain't about that life anymore. So now I'm just gonna tell it. I just want a little more contrast from the background. That's all that really needs to happen on that. So I'm gonna use this as an example. Nice. See, it's just so silly. that you would have to go spend time to do these things. Now, this section, I need more contrast from the background to the accordion. So we're gonna leave accordion white and let's see what happens here. Okay. Technical term for this like whole contain drop down thing is just called an accordion. Now, an interesting development is this whole theme thing. So prior to that, I would have to just tell it to do certain things, but it seems as if now, is Varela in here? Poppins open, so it doesn't have everything I'd want, but it's okay. Where's Man Rope? What the hell is that? That's a more modern font that looks better. Monospace font, Menlo. That's fine. So I wonder though if I go to it and I say to it, make all fonts Varela round, headers and body and nav, same weights they are now. So all I was doing was that. So let's just see what happens here. Get more opacity there. Looks good. It says it's going to apply Varela round to all text elements across the website while preserving the current font weights. But then I wonder what happens if I go back to theme. This is the kind of stuff I like tinkering with and see what happens. And then I want both of these buttons the same red as the login. I like the way this looks. See, every single thing turned to Varela. But now if I go back to theme, nice, bro. Look at that. Cool. Make all buttons same red as login, including, but not app buttons. What is this doing now? I am starting to test the website. Great, you do that. I'll work on this, bro. What is that? Login color. This. So that would be these buttons. It turns out those are the only other buttons. Okay, this looks good. Okay, so how can I solve that problem? The second tier pages. What is these pages again? Facebook video and some basic information. And then it's just kind of the same crap. No, actually it is independent of the customer stuff. Yeah, okay. So we'll come up with a second tier. Customer sign up and driver sign up page. Okay. What is this? What is homie doing? Great news. The homepage looks fantastic and everything loaded up just right. I love how it's always enthusiastic, even when it's totally getting it wrong. But in this case, it's actually looking quite good. I don't want today to be a little bigger. I don't like that there's a little bit too much space on the top, more so than the bottom. That's okay. So I told the center vertically there's too much gap on top, and I screenshotted that. I don't like that. Now I need one for customer sign up, one for driver sign up, which is here. It did give me a second. Okay, link to this as well as learn more in the two cards. All right, moving right along here. So for anyone who's looking at all this, it's interesting for me to see who's watching. Let me just go take a look. YouTube Studio real quick. Pull that off over here. All right. So again, this thing's doing its thing. If I weren't doing this live, I would definitely be doing other websites simultaneously or other work simultaneously. But I love just letting it kind of rip and show like the reality of how long it takes to do certain tasks. It's pretty weird. This new thing that's going on here with the agent browser. That's the second time I've seen this pop up recently. ChatGPT was the first one I saw do it. But look at that. That is so weird. Damn. All right, so let's move right along here. All right, enough's enough. Let's get on to the next pages. So if we go to customer sign up and driver sign up and login, login's external. I need customer sign up and driver sign up to match. If customer sign up and driver sign up match colors to blocks or to cards. Okay. So just from like an art direction perspective, just, again, a lot of these businesses, they don't have style guides and formalities with fonts and stuff like that. So I do my best to just develop and stay on some kind of a brand for them. And in this case, certain colors kind of sticking to the old logo, even though it's a little bit weird and disjointed. To me, everything looks nice and clean here as far as a landing page website goes for a simple app. All right, so it's working on the pages now for customer sign up and driver sign up. Great. So we'll let it rip, keep doing its thing. And while that's happening, I can take you back over to my other site over here and show you something that is kind of amazing about Replit. So let that thing just do its work. I'll take you back over here to my quote unquote passion project. I've been working on recipes, right, in a filter system and trying to come up with a cool way to keep all these things categorized. And so it's just another example of something that WordPress does with categories, tags, and all that good stuff. But something that I created from thin air based on exactly the way that I needed to go down. And instantly too. So like it just filters things nice and fast. I just love it so much. And when you get to the individual pages, each one of these pages has a template that's already kind of predefined, and the ability to just generate on the fly a PDF of whatever it is. And so in the future, unlock this recipe 100% free. In the future, this may be a paid gateway to access this whole portion of the website, or for a fee, a book of all of the recipes in one shot, one download for $5 or something like that. Like there's all these new ways to have AI kind of help you figure out little ways to make like microtransactions and make some money from something that's just kind of sitting there, either collecting dust or with no directive to make revenue from it, passive revenue from it. So if you think about it like that and having AI help you figure out, so you go to ChatGPT, how can I make more passive income from these parts of my website or these things that I'm doing? What can I sell? Because right now, as of 2 days ago, ChatGPT has announced that there's a seamless shopping experience happening from Shopify right through ChatGPT, that you're not even going to go to a website anymore to make a purchase. You're just going to do the whole thing. You're going to get the answer to something, you're going to present it with a product, and you're going to just check right out in ChatGPT. So the whole system of finding things, going to products, and just the whole method of e-commerce and the way it's all going down with SEO and e-commerce, the whole thing is being cracked in half right now. And it's going to spawn a whole new generation of how this is all going down. Quite like with the cable box and Optimum, you'll have plenty of people hanging on to the old way. The old way is 3 months old, man. This is like not old, but it's just like an AI speed world. Things are moving so quick. So if you can get ahead of the curve, or at least ride the wave, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to ride the wave here and know what all these different things are and all these different signals are, and how to get your business to appear when people are contextually typing and conversationally typing to these chatbots. ChatGPT and Perplexity currently, and Gemini, of course, Google's own AI, which is killing its own model of distributing content from websites and web pages. Like web pages aren't being served, they're being scraped, and the information is being provided. So people aren't going to the websites anymore. And this is more and more prevalent in law and medical and stuff like that, where human answers were at one time needed in these conversations on like Reddit and blogs and all that. All of the information's been scraped in and assimilated, and the answers are just provided. And it's a much cleaner experience for the user, but it's diminishing websites traffic. It's diminishing a lot of the way things were done. So if you're a business that relied on web traffic to go to web pages and specifically to earn ad revenue, that's going down. That's going to end real soon, because that whole, ever go to a web page and it has like 40 blinking ads on it all at once? Like, what a terrible experience. And so that's going to go away too. All right, what do we got here? 2 new pages for customer sign up. Oh, look at that. That's unbelievable to me. Not really, like, it's not that unbelievable, but like, I just need these 2 things to be consistent. So become a Hammer customer. Okay, I need the driver. I need this image. So this is a little handy dandy tool called, I believe it's just called Image Downloader, if you can believe it. It just grabs any image on any page. Because often images are concealed, like this particular one's like concealed in CSS. I can't just take it. It's like a background. So this thing will just conceal what that is, and I can just save it down. Driver sign up and customer sign up. Okay, they're both the same, but I want consistent. Okay, so make hero image, titles. So version 3, that's what we have here. And so you see the speed at which things are working. You see how it's going down. But all I'm saying is, if you know what you're doing, you can build a website in an afternoon, not a month. Okay, maybe let's say it takes 2 afternoons or 3 afternoons. But once you get it into this system and you want to update and upload pictures or new projects, it's often that when I'm working for a service business, that projects will have, so you'll often have the before and after project post. And that's very powerful for service businesses, right? Everyone wants to see what it used to look like and what the outcome was after having that service provider do their thing. But every single one of those posts could be different. And those posts are very difficult for those business owners to get in place. So for me to just give AI like 5 images and be like, here, now make this post about this job. Here's the title, here's the town, and here's 5 pictures. Just go blah, 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 and go dress it up and go do it. And damn, man, like I'd have to goof off at that stuff for so long and organize it and crop things to be the same size and just so dated. So this is just unbelievably cool how fast all this goes down. So although watching it live may not be looking like it's super fast, it really is. It's really quite unbelievable what happens here. And so I will republish this as a much shorter video when I'm done with this here today. Actually hoping that it starts speeding up the process a little bit. I'm getting a little edgy, ain't gonna lie. All right, bro, let's go. Everything looks great. Come on, man. All right, let me, again, address this colors. You know what? I'm being impatient with it. You know what it's doing is it's like just fixing these. So I'm going to let it do its thing. I'll come back in a minute. And currently, the operation is what? What's it doing? It's just trying to make these 2 pages and have them be consistent. That's all I'm after right now. They're clearly not. And also, when I go back, when I want to go back to any one of these pages, it's the nav is independent. And that was another one of the flaws here, is that when I got to one of those pages, it needed a separate nav. So many complications, right, that go down with website stuff that people never consider, because why would they? So I'm going to tell AI that it's a little bit broken. This page goes to this page, but then when I want to get back to FAQs, if you could see the bottom, you'll see that there's like a hash download, hash this. That just means take it to a specific page, to a specific place on a long page. Okay, so get back here and you see that when you click on features, it zooms you down to this. So I need those buttons on second tier, like download features on second tier, okay? But how incredibly odd to ask, man, I just wish this was all available 25 years ago. Because, God, things have been so much easier for everybody. You know, the website thing would have not even been such a big deal. Like, all the big deal is with the website stuff is that the fact that code has to place things on the screen. So that used to be so hard to do. And everyone's always tried to come up with a big web builder and Squarespace, Wix, and all the things before that, even as far back as Microsoft Front Page or Netscape Gold. Every single version of a website builder, all it tried to do was give you a visual interface for, making and moving code around, but no one could ever get it right. It was never gotten right until right now with this stuff. And even still, it struggles, but you're just talking to something. You don't have to be wondering and worrying. Like, remember Dreamweaver, and you would go in and like hand code this stuff. God, that was so tedious. And then it was the invention of like database-driven CMSs like WordPress that really changed things. But it was at that point that the code became so complex that you weren't really going in to do that. And then when you wanted to modify something that someone provided for you, like a plugin, you weren't able to do it because it was so complicated. It was impossible. So then you try to hire developers and people who don't speak the language natively. Yeah. So that's all of that stuff led to this place. So what do we got going on here? The hammer site's looking great. It's thinking, let's go, bro. Enough with the small talk. We got to get moving here. Homepage looks tight. Let's move on. What is it even doing at this point? Oh my God. That's what I'm talking about. When you really look inside, like what's going on, and you have to wonder, what kind of brains made this? I just don't feel like it's from Earth. Any of this stuff. Like if I go to Sora and look at the pictures and you start really looking at, I'm only gonna go here and do this because it's spinning its wheels right now, and I'm not gonna jump to anything else. I just want you to see on the bottom of Sora right now, it says, join the new Sora, because this is the old model. So the old model is making human-like, not human-like, anything that you want to see and do. So the new model of Sora is going to include you if you want it to. It's going to include audio if you want it to. Video, obviously, with those 2 things. And your entire social media feed is going to be polluted with bizarre AI images and videos, as if it already isn't. Like, I'd say half of Facebook is AI bullshit that people fall for and have conversations with. The AI generated image or the thing that they're talking about, and much of the comments inside of it. All of it's done for engagement. All of it's done for engagement. That's the only metric that matters. And I think once you understand that from the perspective of the social network or whoever, including this, like, it's called doom scrolling. I'm sure you've either heard the term, or if you haven't, doom scrolling is doing this and just looking at stuff and looking at stuff and that's it. And so doom scrolling is about to get a hell of a lot worse, because what's going to happen is you're taking the human element out and you're just giving people things that are visually impossible and so bizarre that they can't stop consuming the content. And that's a scary place, because this is a big diversion. This is a bunch of bullshit. And that's what's going to happen, man. So there's nothing that's going to stop that from happening, just like there's nothing that's going to stop this from happening. So you beat them, you join them, I don't know, or get a cabin in the woods and just get out of Dodge, man, and just go live off the grid. Bro, could you just get this right now? I'm just getting sick of this. Let's go. This new thing that it's doing, this testing your app, this is pretty weird. It's very slow. Been kind of waiting here. Let's just skip this test. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. But did it do the pages? It didn't do the pages. So I need these 2 pages to be consistent. So we're going to copy customer sign up. Content's fine. I also want, okay, so let's break this into 2 columns. Break into 2 column both pages. It's just too big of a list. So this is all formatting stuff, right? Again, all things that I would just rip through by hand. I need this. Doing. No. Stop. Come on, dude. Never mind. Keep going. Shit. I want it to keep going. Did it do it? Make hero on both. Okay. This is not consistent. Use. Okay. Let's go here. All right, let's go. Okay. Still doing its thing. So think about it like this, right? How long would it really take to get this whole thing completely wrapped up and completely done? Like 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours? That's it. So that's pretty wild to me that something this complicated can happen so quickly now and with no intervention needed from a dev. All right, what's cooking here, bro? There you go. I love it. Okay, driver sign up. Looks great. Okay, take that out. Great. This is looking great. This is just awesome. I just need a little more space. Need a bit. I find it very interesting that it keeps doing this like pop-up thing. The pop-up thing to me seems a bit too goofy. Second tier nav buttons, not working. Need to go to jump links. That looks great. That's great. Just great. Unbelievable. And so you can see, little by little, piece by piece, thing by thing, see how that all happens. And it doesn't take that long, man. All right, let's go. I love that it's checking. Okay, keep doing your thing. Let's go. A little slow. Like I said, if you have this going and you have other things to do, and let's just say you have multiple sites to work on simultaneously, it's very easy to just grab another installation and start to go to work, anything else that you have going on. So you can easily just jump in and out of other places. This client's blog comes in, this client needs this client needs that. I need to do this, like I need to update a project here. You get all these different sites loaded up, and then you can just go boom, boom, boom. So while one's spinning its wheels, let it just spin its wheels. It doesn't matter. You're not sitting there waiting for it like I am right now, right? But this is quite fascinating, although not exciting. But it is so cool and weird, the finished product and how it all comes to be compared to how it used to come to be and the complexities of it all. It's unbelievable. My man's still spinning over here. So I really wanted to like catch up. I might transition this over to finish it on my own time. But I think based on what you saw here, you'll see enough to know that, damn, is that crazy? Like it really is it's just beyond the comprehension for me anyway at this point. But like, what's it doing right now? This new thing that it's doing seems to be very slow. It says that it's working, but is it? What the hell are you doing? Let's go, bro. It's looking good. We need to fix this nav and we need to get on with it. Let's go. Also, the buttons here, keep consistent. Okay, so this thing has a lot of, Jesus, instructions. I want those buttons. Have the buttons match the colors of the cards they're associated with. That's these guys. Great. So again, I'll keep looking and scanning. And I don't like that font is small. I want this font bigger across the board. Make all accordion font fonts 20% larger, site-wide. What else? So if we take this site and look at the live site, this is the working WordPress environment. You know, it's just almost identical. It just looks nicer. It just looks more modern and more clean. This is the old one. And here's the new guy in progress. So void of stupid WordPress. And I say stupid WordPress because it has just gotten ridiculous. And it's useless for businesses' websites that are like this one. I'm working to redesign a local landscape design company, their website, and their current one is like, it's just inoperable. It's just you can't use it or work on it. You just have to replace it. And so what businesses will do in that state they'll just let it sit there. They'll go to do it and they'll realize, oh, this project sucks and it's so big and it's so important, but at least I have this thing. But if I tinker with this thing, then it's going to break and then I'm going to have nothing. So they don't do anything and they just leave it alone. And that's also not a good place to be stuck. Or for the businesses that are just locked in a box with some kind of prefabricated thing that they also have zero capacity to get out of. This AI software building thing frees everybody of all that stuff. And the only thing it doesn't free you of is me, the operator, because any business owner that's going to go do what I'm doing right now is not going to get to this point without kind of micromanaging these details, because it's just me working with a freelancer in my mind, and the freelancer is just inside the computer somewhere instead of overseas in a different time zone, not speaking my language. So it's a lot better this way, if you ask me. All right, dude, looking good. Little slower. Slow and steady wins the race, but come on, bro. Come on. Let's go. It's just working, dude. And so another thing I'd like you to see is the Replit MD. That's a pretty weird thing. Where even is it these days? Must be in files. Replit MD is in here. Where are you? There it is. All right. So what this Replit MD does is it defines the project, what you have going on here. And so what am I looking at here? A single page marketing website for Hammer, haul any materials rapidly, which is a guerrilla services company, a guerrilla services app, local Milford, Connecticut. And this is all that's going on in here. This is the build. So these are the robot instructions that the robot gives itself. Whenever I go back in here and start using the robot looks at Replit MD. Now, if I want to make any big changes to this, all I'm going to do is I tell it to update Replit MD with new information that's pertinent to the build. So if it's making the same mistake or if it needs to remember something so when I go back to, not this one, when I go back to Get Up Earlier, which is my health coach website, my Replit MD, my whole thing here is so different. I have a database. You can look inside the database and see everything. There's so much going on here. And so what this really is it's a developer tool. It's not a website building tool. It's a developer tool. It's a software creation tool. But me running it as an art director or me running it as a project manager, and just basically I have a software developer team that's going to do what I need it to do. And I think that's a better way to look at it than a web design tool, because it's not. It becomes one, but I'm not really building a website. I'm building a web app, an application, a piece of software, something that runs, that's independent of all other pieces of software. There is no other software like this one, just as well as there's no other software like this Hammer Ink site that I'm working on. It's the only one that exists. It's proprietary in that there's one slight nuance that makes it different. It's just different. The WordPress thing is the WordPress thing. Everyone has a WordPress site. Anyone that knows WordPress can jump into WordPress. Anyone that knows how to communicate with OpenAI or ChatGPT generally can come in here and do updates on their own website once it's handed off to them. That's the beauty of it. Once you have this framework in place, that's all you need to know how to do is talk to the robots. So if I had any advice for anybody that's looking to get into AI now, I would learn how to talk to robots. That's number one. Because if you can't, you're not going to get what you want. And if you get frustrated and swear, which I've done, I ain't going to lie, I have sworn at this thing. It stressed me out, man. Especially version 1. Version 1 was real stupid. It was an idiot. You would tell it to do something like just close this gap. And it would be like, oh, okay, I'll make the gap 150 pixels. No, don't do that. And then it would just remove stuff. I'm like, bro. Then version 2 came along and stopped a lot of that nonsense. But still, sometimes spin in a circle for you and not do what you needed to do. But version 3, although quite slow, is quite precise, I must say. And there is this tool in here, which I'm not touching that button. I feel very nervous about this button right here. The autonomy level. I have it set to high, meaning what it's going to do is it knows it's got to fix something or do something. The old one would just stop and be like, all right, that's fantastic. And it was just still broken. And it was ridiculous. But what this one does is it goes on, it just keeps going and it spins and it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. But on max means it doesn't stop until it's done. And which is kind of scary, actually. It's kind of weird because as someone pointed out to me recently, like, well, in a real world situation, if AI just doesn't stop, if someone programs it to do something and it's just programmed to not stop until that thing is done, well, that's pretty freaking terrifying. But in the case of building a website, the only thing that's terrifying about that is the bill you're going to get when it says it's done, because I don't know how long it's going to take. And that's even part of like the disclaimer. Set it to max and you're going to be, get ready. Because it's funny how the higher the power of the model and the more dollar signs here, 5 times the cost. But it's only, is it 5 times the accuracy? But why not just make the whole tool work the same? Why not give everyone the good tool? Like what's with this diminished version, which is like an idiot. It's like a low-level idiot employee. I don't want the low-level idiot. I want the real one. I want the good one. I could help pay for it. That's all they should say here. But they should just make the whole thing the high-power model. But again, this high-power model 6 months from now will be obsolete, gone. And there'll be plenty of other tools that do exactly what this tool is doing right here. But it's just a battle of who's going to stay on top of this kind of software developing thing. All right, what in the hell is this clown doing at this point? Like, bro, are we done here? Because I'm getting like bored. Let's go. Looks good, looks great. Everything's here except, oh, you sons of bitches fixed it. Damn, that is so weird. How do they do that, man? If I go to driver sign up, yeah, man, you fixed it. This is freaky, bro. This is so weird. God, I can't even take it. And this is stupid websites. Like, what's going to happen when this is replicating bigger things than websites? Like, this is crazy. So any software that exists right now is not safe. Any software package that you use, like Photoshop, Premiere, After Effects, browsers. Perplexity just launched today, actually. I love when I just see things launch all the time and I'm trying to remember what these things are. It's so fast. I got a new update in Windows today. Windows like AI everything. And every time I open up Photoshop, there's a new update. AI this, AI that. Same thing with Premiere. I mean, when I tell you that I use AI everywhere I go in my whole world now, I'm not lying. And I talked to someone the other night at the bar. And I asked him, you using AI for anything? He's like, nah, not really. I'm like, no way. Like, how do you even avoid it at this point? But maybe it's just because it's just so part of my world. But I'm using it as my running coach. I'm using it to help me like train myself better to run longer, better marathons. Not longer marathons, a marathon, but to run a faster, better, stronger marathon. I've been working with ChatGPT on multiple threads to help me figure that out, all while simultaneously building it into this website as a training log so that I can go back on it. I had them, this is the thing, I had it build a blog. So the blog looks like the blog. But I said, you know what? I want one blog post that's branded. See my shirt? That's branded Hartford Marathon colors, and I want a countdown. I'm not thrilled about this countdown because that means I have to run 26.2 miles in 7 days, and I'm not interested. But anyway, I documented much of my training, and it helped me do that. And it helped me, like I told it, embed these songs from Spotify and just do all these things. In addition to that, like my running app itself now has AI in it. My freaking music has AI in it now. I have AI DJ dude right here. Hey, Mike, what you want to listen to today? And it just starts playing some random stuff for me. So I don't even know how you avoid it at this point, to be honest with you. I have this thing making me marketing messages. And if you don't think I'm using it a lot, like my history here, my media is bananas. And I'm only showing you all this because I'm waiting for this thing to stop doing its work, which is here. All right. Everything looks great with the website's navigation. Exclamation point. Very happy all the time. You can click all these things and it will work. I just need a little more pad on the top and the bottom here, bro. It's a little crammed, but things are looking fantastic. I need this in 2 columns. I want a little contrast on this bottom, a little more contrast on this bottom accordion. And I need you to bump up the text size there too. I know you did it on the home page. Actually, did you not get to it yet? Oh my God. Yeah, dude, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 commands waiting for it. So that's what's next. That's what's next. What's next is speed, because right now it's too slow. If I'm thinking faster than it can execute, right? It's not fast enough, which has been the plague of me on a computer my whole career. I've always had thoughts beyond the speed at which my computer would work. But now it's my thoughts beyond the speed at which AI can do its work. But I really believe in a couple versions from now that will change and it'll never go back to slower. I can tell you that. So what is this clown boat doing now? Dude, just come on, bro. Yeah, in the old days, 2 months ago, I was swearing at this thing. It would make me irate. It didn't stop me from finishing the job, but it definitely didn't help my stress levels. That I could tell you. So, all right, bro, getting edgy. We're here. We're like closing in on this easy, simple, cool little website, but you're losing me in the last minutes here, man. So if you wouldn't mind, could you just get to the next place? Customer sign up, driver sign up. Yeah, it looks good, man. Come on. All right, dude, we're going to skip this test. Matter of fact, I don't even know how I feel about these tests. Look at that, though. It's like doing it. So you got Robot Man checking its own work. Autonomous, slow as hell. All right, we're going to skip this test, bro. We got to get on to the next thing. Let's go, baby. Just crazy town, dude. What we got here? Let's see what we got. To me, it seems like this thing has been slow as dart, but it's doing its thing. It's just taking time. So that's why when it comes time to making the kind of final video of this, it's going to have to be edited way down. Okay, verify the 2-column list. Looks fantastic. Great. I don't want that test. The testing takes too long. So let's go. I'm here to make this thing move faster. Let's go. So now it's saying that it's going to increase the padding on the top and the bottom of the hero sections. And I'm hopeful that it's just going to get all this stuff done very soon. This has been a successful, easy build. So let's go. We're almost here. We're almost at the finish line. Let's go, man. We're almost there. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to close this sucker down for now. And I'm going to add on to the end of this video the resolution. This video took about 2 hours. I would expect a little bit more time to just let this thing just wind out, work out, do what it has to do. But I'm not going to sit here and wait for it to finish, because it's just going to finish. It's going to test, and it's just going to get it right eventually. And then we're going to move on to the next build. Okay? So hopefully this helped provide some insight. When I put the final video up, I'll be sure to include the final product, but at least you could see what's happened here. Listen, man, this is just a simple website build, but the fact is we cloned WordPress and removed it from the equation. So going forth, you have a static build built on AI that you're going to prompt to update with none of the complications of WordPress coming along for the ride. So hopefully you enjoyed the insight, and it's been cool to do. But we're at the end of this, and I think everyone gets the point at this point of what I was able to accomplish in 2 hours compared to what it would have looked like if I had to build this thing out or replicate it from scratch in any other program, including Webflow. It would be exponentially more time. It doesn't even make sense to do that anymore. Like, honestly, figure this out or get an operator and be on your way with prompting for updates, prompting to add blogs, prompting to edit stuff. And again, if I don't if I don't want this text to be this text from bulk products to small equipment parts, right? There's the edit button right here, edit and modify a specific part. So I just go right here and I can just change that. I can just type in here whatever I want. I don't want that in there. I'm just saying. Editing is an option. That's also like a new add-on. I used to have to tell it to edit things, which was a little bit of a weird pain in the ass, but now every single piece of text on here is touchable in some ways. So that's very convenient. So hopefully you got some good insight from this. I'm going to conclude this here, and I will post at the end of this the final product and a link to the finished job once it's up and running, probably on Monday. Have a good one, everyone.